Is that? That's the right button. There we go. Okay. How's it going, chat? I don't have to wear headphones anymore if I don't want to. It's a freaking miracle, and neither does Mac. So that's nice, right?
I feel so freed.
Oh, that's weird. I'm so used to hearing Mac in my ears during this, like with the headphones on, that now that I like can hear him where he is, like it changes the feel of the room.
It really does.
That's
it's
interesting.
A very different dynamic.
Okay. Well then. How's it going, chat? Here we go with a little Friday night fun. Yeah. I know I went live a few days ago when my wife wanted to do some Minecrafting, and I figured why not be live while we were playing around a little. That was fun. But yeah, this week I got the monitor speakers up. And so now we no longer need the headphones if we don't want to. And yeah, the first few times, of course, I played with them, there was feedback. There was all kinds of, fun. But I think I figured that stuff out. So, yeah, we're going to do, standard stuff. We're going to go over our things. We're going to play some games. We're going to talk about the news, all that. But I think we've kind of gotten used to starting out with me. How's it going? So this week I only streamed the one time because, again, it's one of those. I had 3 big doctor's visits this week, including one today. You can hear my voice is a little scratchier because of it. Lots of testing and whatnot. It's all the follow-up visits for everything that's been going on. So, except for today's. Today's was different. But all of those were like, last few days, the pulmonary, the lung testing, the sticking the tube in and having me blow against like wind coming at me and testing how strong it was and all that. And a few positives. My lung capacity is getting better. So that's good to know. They've scheduled me again for another 4 months out to see if the pace is still going the same way it is. That'll be awesome. Today was me going in for my pre-surgery meeting where they tell me all the things not to do for the next few weeks and what to do the night before and all of that, and lay out all the fears and risks and everything before they make me, sign my life away on paperwork saying they're allowed to do these things to me. So I did all of that today for the surgery for all of this that they're going to have to do. It will be amazing to be able to breathe. Like this is like Mac, this is the worst time for this to be going on where I can't breathe through my nose. Because like I'm sitting here outside in the cold, in the wind, in the freezing. It snowed the other day. You saw that little light
Very
dusting?
briefly, yeah.
And I'm only able to breathe through my mouth. So like not only am I already dried out because I'm breathing through my mouth, then it's cold. Like I don't want to complain too much, but that shit sucks.
Yeah, it does.
So I can't wait for this to happen and all that. But then I won't even really notice it because I'll still be breathing through my mouth for like a month and a half afterward because of all the surgery they're doing. They gave me all the warnings today. Excuse me. I'm still a little messed up from all the doctor's visits this week. But the warnings were like, we could nick something and you could bleed. And I explained that would be bad. And they said, we know. Because me bleeding out is not a good thing with my blood type and all the other stuff. No transfusions, none of that. So there's definitely that. And but then he also said, depending on how good it's going, they have so much work to do because of the S shape and how it's all filled in now, that in repairing the center, they might accidentally, and he had a word for it. I don't remember. It started with a P. Was it perineum or something like that? What was the word for what he was talking about? The thing in the middle line of cartilage there. But he said we might actually punch a hole through that, and then you'll just have a hole between the two sides. And I said, what's the threat of that? And he said, well, stuff just might build up in the hole depending on the size of it, and you'll have to clean that out. And I said, I've seen video of people who had really bad cocaine addictions like that. And he said, well, it shouldn't be that big. So, But he just listed off like all of the things. Yeah, so when they do surgery on me, they have those machines that they use sometimes. Like there's certain other types of blood where people have to like get a live transfusion in order for it to work. So someone has to be laying next to them and then the blood goes into that machine and then, and then it comes back out. For me, it doesn't go in and then go to another person. It goes in and then circulates and then comes back to me. So they've got like this specific one here. So instead of getting to go to like one of the smaller hospitals, I have to go to like one of the bigger ones where they've got the machine that'll do that for me. Because I can't take other people's blood and mine can't be out of my body for more than about an hour before it won't go back in and do anything for me. And well, other than, cause serious damage, which, I'm hoping to not have. That sounds like something I don't want. But yeah, that's kind of the update on all that. So they've said very clearly that, it's a 9 out of 10. This goes 100% simple. They do this all the damn time. This type of a surgery is normal, blah, blah, blah. All the stuff they want to tell you so you sign the damn paperwork. But I do, believe all of that too. Like, I mean, this should be a simple one-day thing. I don't think I need to spend the night. He said very rarely. We talked about the fact that anesthesia really needs to work on this one because I cannot move while they're in there, that they're too close to big things. I, of course, explained to him that anesthesia does not work on me. Well, not all the way. I wake up during surgery. I've had 3 surgeries in the last 20 years, and all 3 of them I woke up in the middle of. So he, of course, said that's the first thing you tell the anesthesiologist, and you talk through what they can do to maybe also strap you down and all the other fun stuff. So they're going to have my head in a harness. So I cannot move if I wake up. But I'm actually used to it. And the anesthesia seems to do good enough that like I'm not feeling a lot of pain when I wake up during the surgery. I can kind of feel it a little though. It feels weird. Like when they were working on my neck, like I felt them working around in there, but it didn't hurt a lot. It hurt a little, like minor, but not what you would think. So anesthesia does enough, but I do still wake up and look at them while they're working and they look at me like, why is he staring at us? The doctors give me this look like I don't like it when they watch. So we'll have to see how that goes. Me and Mac haven't eaten dinner yet and we ordered pizza. So at some point in the next 10 minutes or so, pizza's going to show up. The anesthesiologist on the last one definitely took this as a challenge and said they were going to keep me down. And honestly, they did keep me down longer than anyone else. We were a good 2/3 of the way through surgery before I popped back. And I was really groggy when I came back. Like I didn't come all the way back. So we'll see. Maybe this one gets it. But he also said, there are limits to like, if we overdo it, that's a problem. So, that's, I think, one of the reasons why anesthesiologist isn't just some whoever standing there gives you the shot, right? Like, there's a specialist because...
It's a very fine balance between knocking you out and just killing you.
Exactly. Man, I will say, this feels really weird with the monitors. I was so used to hearing our voices in the headphones that, like, this is kind of strange to me. Also,
it's weird to not just have the thing over your ears.
Right. I love this. This is exactly what I wanted out of the monitors, right?
Indeed.
I wanted no feedback. I wanted to be able to hear things. All the computers in here now come out of these speakers when I'm like doing stuff and I want to play music or something. Like these are perfect little speakers. And they're like little $50 freaking speakers too, but they're like the cheapest studio monitors you could get.
Yeah, I used to use a set of studio monitors as my desktop speakers.
And they have monitor and music mode, so you can switch. So that helps a lot. I keep looking over here because I'm still like kind of screwed up by the idea that like I can't hear the voices right now. So I keep looking down at the EQ and like looking at the display for the actual sound going through and watching all the bars go up and down, and we are going through just fine and not hitting the red line. We're just getting into yellow, slightly orange, so we're not being super loud. I think we're all balanced out. I honestly think the sound is finally a solved problem after like 5 weeks of doing this.
It's a process.
Awesome talking. Yeah, like I'm a fan of this. And another thing, so I finally solved what happened last time we were right. The vertical saving As we all remember, I was complaining the whole time as to why it kept saying it was like saving the file live, so I could use the vertical for like TikToks and YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels and all that. But it wasn't actually saving a file. Well, it was because I had switched it to use the Apple hardware HEVC encoder. And everything you can find about doing OBS on Mac will tell you not to do that. It's there in the dropdown for some reason still, but they say don't use it, please. We don't want bug reports on this one. It sucks. And I learned my lesson. I had actually switched it to that for a very specific reason, and it worked fine with the main canvas recording. It was needed. But the vertical canvas from Atom does not like it. So switching it all back to just use the software X264 is fine. And that whole Mac back there, the iMac Pro, I mean, it's a 28-core freaking 128 gig of RAM beast with NVMe drives because I've upgraded it. It can handle software encoding 2 streams of 4K. Like, so I'm not bothered that I'm not using like hardware accelerated, saving here. I think we're okay here. The delivery app says that a bicycle is currently coming to us with the pizza. They have been doing this lately in this area for some reason, and then the person shows up like driving like a freaking Ford Explorer or something. Like, it's definitely not a bicycle, not even a moped.
I mean, I like the idea of them using a bicycle or a moped, especially knowing that the Domino's is very close by.
Yeah, literally the pizza place is like 2 blocks away. If I wasn't, going live, I would have just walked over and gotten the thing. Whew. So good times. I really like where this is weird, but I really like where my doctor's office is for all of my nose stuff, all my ear, nose, and throat, because it's in the town over from us, and it's a far walk. Like, I would not have walked this 2 years ago, but because of all the recovery I'm having to do and all the exercise I'm having to do, it's in Medford Center, Max. So I walk all the way there in the morning to get to my doctor, and that's
that's a walk.
I think to get to the exact doctor's office, it's 14 miles. And then I walk back from there about halfway, grab Panera, and then get to sit for a little bit, rest, and then finish the walk back. So it's a lot of walking.
Yeah.
And I do that after my morning workout. So like, I'm really feeling like good about this stuff. Yeah. I'm really feeling like I'm making progress. Yeah, and I can see it too. Like when I went into the doctor 2 days ago, they had to weigh me before they did all the pulmonology stuff. And I'm only down from my high of 208 down to 204. But the weight is going to other places now.
Right.
And where I want it to go because of all the weightlifting and everything else. So, and this morning was the first morning where I really felt like I moved up from the 15-pound weights to the 20-pound weights for my curls.
Oh, yeah. And
I was still able to do the same reps. And like, it's the first time I've made that big jump up, another weight on those for the curls. Mm-hmm. And I didn't feel horrible afterward. Like, I didn't feel like I way overdid it or something. So I'm feeling really good about that. Like, it's because you can go with like the 10 or 15 pounders for like a year and not notice. Yeah. Like, this is the first thing where I feel like actual progress on the lifting part of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want a QP sighting too. She is off for the weekend. I will not see her again until like either late tomorrow night or early Sunday morning. I'm guessing probably early Sunday morning. So no QP tonight. We might stream together though Sunday evening. That is kind of a thing we thought of maybe doing. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I feel the same way. I miss her every time she's gone. Luckily we are actually still in love. So, that helps a lot. The pizza is here. Mac, would you be so kind as to get the pizza? Look at this. We're getting pizza. It is dinner time, everyone. I keep feeling like I need to stand up to do things and then reaching to take the headphones off, chat. And I'm not wearing them anymore. It's been so many months of wearing these headphones. Oh. I will have to clear my throat a lot more with the stuff that, we did this week. So just, sorry about that. Is what it is. I might cough a little more. my last set of tests on my lungs and everything I was down 35% lung capacity from the test that had happened actually like a year before I got COVID. So pretty bad, right? My test this week shows me only down 20%. Now, only in 20%, like that sucks. But I've regained 15%, and most of it they think is my exercising, not any repair or anything. So because they still say it's making all kinds of weird noises when they do the thing where they, they're listening and they're saying take deep breaths. It's still making all kinds of noises and sounds they don't like. Excuse me. But a 15% increase when I'm only now down about 20% is pretty good. We reviewed all of my workout stuff, all of my exercise I do in the mornings, and they're very happy with my routine. They didn't have any changes they wanted me to do. They're happy I'm walking to things. So, I think I'm in a pretty good spot. Health-wise, I'm on the mend. I'm on the way back. Tucking Vipos hung out with me for a few days last week there, and I think, he can attest to the fact that I looked pretty healthy the whole time and I felt it the whole time. So I think we're in a pretty good spot here. I am going to grab myself a plate of the pizza. And, it is interesting, this new setup. You guys actually just get to see right into the kitchen. Like, it's
true.
So it just is what it is, Luckily, there's two of us in this, and Matt can totally entertain you while I'm doing this.
I can do a little dance. I suppose I could, but you wouldn't really be able to see much because of the way the camera is. Really, if I was gonna do some dancing, I should be over where you are.
Right. Okay, now for the fun part. Chat. I hate grease on pizza a lot, and so I sit here and I do this every time.
The nice thing is the positioning of that has it perfectly in frame on your camera.
I really like the new setup where the cameras are, where I sit, the view, the background. I like it a lot more. I didn't mind having a virtual background or anything.
Yeah.
But I like this a lot more. It
feels
more natural.
It really does.
Yes. I want chat to also understand all the coughing and everything else. I'm not actually feeling bad. This is just if you've ever had to go in and do the whole set of lung tests and throat tests and nose tests and then followed that up 2 days later with all the eye, ear, and nose stuff and because they're prepping for possible surgery up there, they do a bunch of extra stuff looking around and they stick things dude, he stuck a thing in and then it went into my throat and back and a camera to look at some stuff. And I mean, so all the coughing and everything else, I'm not feeling horrible. I don't have a sore throat. It's literally just, I feel the last few days.
And irritated.
I've been through a lot.
Yeah.
How's everyone in chat doing? How's everyone's week been? Tell me something while I take a few bites of this. They are definitely not. I mean, with the life I've lived, they really weren't in the first place. But, so many stories from playing around on that Rocky Horror stage and backstage especially. That was a fun time. Indeed. I wish that had happened, and this is going to sound strange because most people would say they're very happy it didn't, but I wish all my time doing the Rocky Horror stuff and playing Frankie and getting all dressed up and was done at a time when there were more cameras, because I don't have photos from any of that. So So I don't have much to like show from all of that, but I like used to, get literally done up, depending on which night it was, as Frankie or as Brad or one random weekend I played Magenta just for the hell of it, just because our Magenta was gone and we had other people for the other roles if they wanted them. So I played Magenta. I was horrible. Whew. Oh, yes, that is exactly what you want to find. Living out in the middle of nowhere like you do. You tagged me in something. You tagged me in a TikTok. I have no idea. I don't normally check my TikTok. It's not a site I actually use. I just want to use it to go live when I can. I've only put like the few videos up there and whatnot so I could try and convince them to let me go live early. So much to get done. Yeah, so my surgery's on the 27th, so like right in between, things like family things and everything. So there's going to be like all this weird travel involved with it, going back and forth across the state, because I also have to like rest really the whole night before. They told me I can't have aspirin or anything like it until surgery now, and that's on the 27th. So I really hope I don't get a headache. Damn it.
Yeah, that's rough. I mean...
And insurance took my Symbicort away from me. So every day I have to take Symbicort twice in the morning and twice at night. It's an inhaler. It's the maintenance one, so I don't have to be using like my emergency inhaler all the damn time. And they've been giving it to me just fine since this happened in like May. And then suddenly this week, like when they went to renew it, my doctor said, "Oh yeah, they say it's not covered by your insurance anymore." My insurance has not changed. So they've given me the generic. I still have enough Symbicort for another month, so I'll go get the generic after that, and we'll see if I hate everybody or not. I have seen the Pika AI video, the newer one from just a couple days ago, where they're like live editing as the woman walks forward, and they're changing stuff in the background, and they're changing her sweater and all of that, like live. Like that's crazy to me. That video was insane. When all of this AI stuff started like really exploding, like what was it, year and a half, 2 years ago? I mean, it was there before, but like exploding at the pace it's exploding now, everyone was asking, when's video coming? When's video coming? Because all the deep fake stuff and all the other things, that wasn't the same thing as what we're doing now. Like different technology, different, different tooling, and of course, different quality. And of course, you're saying, oh, well, they've got the images kind of working. They've got the text definitely, on the right path. Video's coming. Then you get like 3-second clips that don't really look that good like 6 months ago. And now suddenly they're like live editing video. Like here, add a Christmas tree in that corner to this video. Change her shirt to a sweater. And it's like the pace, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
This stuff is nuts. Yeah, we'll when I pull up the web browser and we go through all that stuff, I'll pull up the TikTok. We'll go look at it. If people are ready, we can just start that type of stuff now. Maybe? Can I bring up the browser that I want to bring up? It is that one. Yay. I use the spaces thing, on this screen here. And so I never know what we're doing. So we are going to switch over to Mac plus Me Cambox. Because using big words on the Stream Deck makes it go off the screen. So you use small words. And ta-da! Look at that. There we are. All right. Chat's up in the corner. I fixed that. I played around with a lot of the scene stuff to get more of the vertical things working now. Okay, so let's start this off by saying fuck Elon Musk. Let's just go right into that before I then, talk about, this. Because still fuck Elon Musk. But 48 volt architecture for cars is what's needed next. It is more efficient. It is faster charging. It allows for more of the electronics in the car to actually be powered without a lot of jankiness. We've had the 12 volt now for 50 years, and we've added a lot more electronics since then. So if you look at like modern cars, like some Mercedes and some BMWs, they have, a battery up front and a battery in the trunk just because of the amount of electronics going. So the Cybertruck now has 48 volt. And while it's got many deficiencies like panel gaps, bad quality parts, and all kinds of other stuff, the 48 volt platform is really interesting. And yes, but Musk told them to do it is what the engineers have said in one of the articles that I read where they were looking through it. But I want to make sure. Actually, this isn't about antitrust. This isn't about Musk being a good or a bad person. This is something entirely different. So Tesla goes to say, we've figured it out. We've made a 48 volt vehicle, and we want the entire industry to benefit from this. Their wording, and they give out this document that gives all the architectural information, the engineering information necessary. And you've got Jim Farley from the CEO of Ford saying, yeah, he actually did it. Like, we actually did receive this document. And of course, the first question is, why did Musk do this? Is it similar to the patents for things like the battery tech and other things that they've let out there so electric would go a little faster? And it actually is similar because a lot of people still don't talk about why all this was done. The reason Tesla put out the 48 volt spec and just gave it to all the other car companies and solved all these years-long engineering problems that the other companies were going through to try and get here is not because Tesla wants to be the good guys. It's not because Musk cares about ushering in this new future. It's not about safety. It's about the fact that the entire car industry works off of OEMs. Groups like Bosch. Bosch makes parts in everything from a Chrysler to a Chevy to a Ford to a Porsche. So there are these giant OEMs who make all the parts. And there's a good 5 or 6 of them that really matter in the world that make, most of the parts. And in order to get to volume where parts in the 48 volt spec become cheap and available for Tesla to then actually move forward on a lot of fronts without having to make every part themselves, they need the whole industry to move forward so these OEMs come on board and start making these parts, making it a standard, and start, making it interoperable and making it where mechanics know how to play with this stuff and blah, 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 blah. So the goal here wasn't about, any altruism. It was literally they need the industry to come with them, or making all this 48 volt tech is going to be extremely cost prohibitive for them, and they need the 48 volt tech. So the trick here is that they're just trying to convince the industry to, again, accept the same standard and the same way they're doing it. So all the OEMs will come along, creating a big marketplace of parts and of vendors and of engineers they could even hire that already know this stuff. It's more, again, about their own pockets than it is anything else. It's just most people aren't talking about it from that angle. This article in Electrek does bring it up a little, and I really like that they touched on that because, to me, that's the most important point of this. The other most important point of this is, yes, that is Jim Farley is Chris's brother. Literally Saturday Night Live, Tommy Boy, David Spades, comedy partner, all of that, is the CEO of Ford, and I find that hilarious personally. Most people don't know that. They see the name and they don't put it together. But like, if you see his face and you hear him talk, and maybe you close your eyes while he's talking, you just see Chris. Literally, it is crazy. Yeah. Mm. So that one was interesting to me because first thing I thought was, why did they do it, right? Turns out they need all the OEMs to come along for the ride. Next one. Beeper Mini shows up this week. Beeper's by the same guy who made the Pebble Watch, which of course was like the biggest all-time like crowdfunding of its time. And then, they got bought out and then shut down and blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, well. But it's by that same person. Apple has figured out how to stop their beeper mini after only 1 week from connecting to the network. Everyone saw this coming, right? Like, I mean, I don't understand how they didn't see it coming, because they put a lot of engineering work into reverse engineering the whole protocol, the ways to connect, the end-to-end encryption, everything. And it lasted a week. This could be, funded by someone trying to, again, hit, Apple with, maybe some kind of an antitrust thing. Maybe they're going to use this to fight them in court to open it up. Who knows? But it is hilarious that it only lasted a week to me. I was totally fine with it lasting forever. I don't care about the bubbles. This guy has green bubbles and I have blue ones. And like, who actually cares about that shit?
Yeah, anyone like, that does
teenagers
get better things to do with their time,
right? But yeah, that lasted a week. I do not know if anyone watched the funny blue duck video, but the Gemini video was fake. Google, showed off their model, Gemini, with this awesome video where this person talked to it and showed him and had it watching the video as they were going. And this came out a few days ago, and it's quite awesome if you watch it, if it really worked this way. But what it turns out is it wasn't watching the video. It was not responding to the words that we were hearing the conversation back and forth. And instead, they shot the video, and then they took screenshots of everything and then fed it in individually to the model with very specifically crafted prompts to get it to say the things it did. And then they took that voice and put it into the video in the right spots. So if you watch the video, you were bamboozled if you thought that was real time and it was doing what it was doing. And that was on purpose. They made the video to do that, but they got called out on it. And funny enough, the person who called them out is good old Parmy Olson, who you might all remember wrote one of the Anonymous books. So she's the one who first called them out in an article on Bloomberg. I just liked the picture in this article better, Whew. Now, real questions and real talk. Stuff isn't updating over here, and I need to re-log in. Okay, yeah, see, why does Stream Elements always log out? I'm going to click this button and see if it actually is logged back in again. Hey, it is! Berdam gifted True a sub. Talking Fipos. I tried to fix that. A second set of eyes on that would be freaking awesome if you have a few minutes sometime. That should not do that. That should instead say who was gifted. Because it was Splendid Spoon. And that's awesome. Yay. I just wish... No, it said True last time, too. It didn't say who. It said gifted it to True. And I went in and played with it, and it still says True, so I have no idea what's going on. So that is definitely a thing that needs some work. But yes, we were all bamboozled by the Gemini video. I mean, I wasn't necessarily bamboozled because I was like, there's no fucking way this is real. But I did enjoy the video. How about the self-made man of the GOP?
The latest supposed self-made man.
Yeah, I do believe this is
the exact same story. Okay, I guess it's not the exact same story because this time he was a Navy SEAL at one point.
He did do the Navy SEAL thing, put himself through Navy college, all that.
I mean, a fair number of them are veterans because that's a common story, but. Yeah, the Navy SEAL is a little less common. We've seen a few of them in the last 5 or 6 years, though. So I guess that seems to be the new one.
So he has the standard all-American Republican right-wing story of bootstrapping. we got land and we got on it and we couldn't afford anything. And me and my wife, we lived in a tent until we could actually build the barn that we built ourselves. And then we lived in that for a year. And And then, we finally had some money to do some other. No. No.
Yeah,
One, when they got on the land, they had $300,000 saved up of their own as young kids, just out of college and whatnot. No, you're already privileged. If you can save that at that age. Two, to start their business, they went to the family and were like, well, we've got all of this, but we still need about $100,000 more. And the parents just coughed it up. My parents couldn't cough up $100. So $100,000 is, and then of course, as the business is getting moving, they needed to buy a few things like 2 planes. And to put the deposits down, they needed $500,000. And again, the dad and his brother coughed up that money.
Or at least like that and their connections. They coughed up enough that along with the family connections, they were able to secure the rest.
Exactly.
So like it basically was family.
Yeah.
Even if
if those are bootstraps, I need new boots
seriously.
Because in total, there, depending on how you want to look at it, it's somewhere between $300,000 and $600,000 that family gave. But he totally did it all on his own, and he bootstrapped, and he came up from nothing.
Also, there's one part where he's talking about how like his dad was willing to help him, just because, but his brother who's had money from like Wall Street or something, wanted like to see the business plans and to get like a share of equity. And like, so like you had options is what you're saying. You had a brother that was willing to fund your thing for a share of it. And then your dad was willing to just give you money for it.
Your parents had hundreds of thousands of dollars to spare. Your family members worked on Wall Street. Yes, but you started all on your own.
Yes.
What's funny is he told on himself like every Republican. So this wasn't totally public. Everyone just, kind of was listening to his story and like, hey, great, you've got a good story. Yay, yay you. Survivorship bias and all the other things, right? But then he's written a book, and people have pre-copies of the books to like do reviews and shit. And in the book, he just outright says, oh yeah, I totally started on my own with hundreds of thousands of dollars my family gave me. But I did it all on my own from a tent on land I bought. No. They tell on themselves because they don't understand that that's not doing it on your own. I honestly think he believed that he bootstrapped. He believed that he did this all on his own.
All of these people convinced themselves that they totally did it all on their own. It's like the people that are born into that level of wealth and privilege are blind to it, so they don't understand the advantages that they've gotten from it. They think it's all themselves. That's why they have they promote all these ideas about like the great man theory of history or like self-made millionaires and billionaires.
Yes.
The idea that people, some people are an island. They're John Galt, able to do everything single-handedly. And that like anyone that understands how society actually works and like how things are produced or developed, no, that's not even remotely how anything works, basically ever.
Yeah. I always get a little more mad about this stuff simply because, Mac, and I've said some things on stream, but I've never quite gone 100% into just, how growing up was. But I definitely did not grow up with any of that. So this idea that they think that is like, base level, like that's the bottom and that's bootstrapping when I was like 10 levels below that. That's just a bunch of bullshit and very annoying.
Oh, yeah.
So how about this from today? Let's just get right into the bad stuff. Good old If Not Now, who have been organizing lots of the protests and everything else. This is an American Jewish organization that is trying to, fight off and, beg for the ceasefire and all that. So this is just them saying, the U.S. vetoed the UN Security Council resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza today. So we were the only vote against. We were the only veto. The UK abstained. Everyone else voted for calling for the ceasefire, including Russia, China, all these other, countries. Also, some people are making a joke of it, but Robert Wood literally, if you look at his arm there, when he vetoed, that hand is flat. If you watch the video of it, I mean, that is literally the Hitler salute. Like, he vetoed it with the Hitler salute. Like I don't think he intended to. I'm not going to say that, but he did. He did it. His arm totally went... It didn't go straight up and down. It's at an angle, and his hand is flat up there. When you're vetoing a ceasefire there with these people, you might not want to make that PR mistake. I don't know.
Seems ill-advised.
Yeah. And of course, then you come over here and you're thinking, I wonder why. Oh, exclusive. Biden administration asked Congress approval on Israeli tank shells for use in Gaza. And the potential sale worth more than $500 million is not part of the $110 billion supplemental request. Biden wants some of our military-industrial complex to be able to sell Israel $500 million worth of tank shells for the Merkava tanks. So 45,000 shells that they can use in Gaza to continue the genocide. $500 million is, the amount of money that helped us veto the ceasefire call. And also do nothing about this. And also just, profit off of all the suffering. So, good job, America. Yeah?
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's so frustrating, too, because, they'll take some positive steps. Just a couple days ago, there was the thing with the meeting that Vice President Kamala Harris did in Dubai, or at the COP28 summit, where she met with a bunch of leaders and said things like the official readout of the meeting with I think it was the president of Egypt was the vice president reiterated that under no circumstances will the United States permit the forced relocation of Palestinians from Gaza or the West Bank, the besiegement of Gaza, or the redrawing of the borders of Gaza.
Uh-huh.
And then we have the Secretary of Defense. Did you see the comments from Lloyd Austin?
Yeah.
Where he's like, where is it? He starts out, now, Israel is in a hard fight against a cruel enemy in one of the most densely populated areas of on Earth. But democracies like ours are stronger and more secure when we uphold the law of war. So we will continue to press Israel to protect civilians and to ensure the robust flow of humanitarian aid. First and foremost, that's the right thing to do, but it's also good strategy. I learned a thing or two about urban warfare from my time fighting in Iraq and leading the campaign to defeat ISIS. Like Hamas, ISIS was deeply embedded in urban areas, and the international coalition against ISIS worked hard to protect civilians and create humanitarian corridors, even during the toughest battles. So the lesson is not that you can win in urban warfare by protecting civilians. The lesson is you can only win in urban warfare by protecting civilians. You see, in this kind of a fight, the center of gravity is the civilian population, and if you drive them into the arms of the enemy, you replace a tactical victory with a strategic defeat. So I've repeatedly made clear to Israel's leaders that protecting Palestinian civilians in Gaza is both a moral responsibility and a strategic imperative. And so I have personally pushed Israeli leaders to avoid civilian casualties and to shun irresponsible rhetoric and to prevent violence by settlers in the West Bank and to dramatically expand access to humanitarian aid, end quote. Which,
How about no settlers?
Yeah.
Let's start there.
But, he says all these things. You know what no part of that statement said? Was that he had any basis to believe that Israel was doing any of those things that he had been pressing Israel to do. In fact, some of them we very specifically know they weren't. Like shunning irresponsible rhetoric and preventing violence by settlers and dramatically expanding access to humanitarian aid. By any objective standard, absolutely, I don't think anyone disputes that none of those have happened. So when the fact that he's putting protecting civilians alongside those and not being like I'm pushing them to do that thing that they're doing, and that's why they're doing it. No, he's just saying, I keep pushing them to do it. Also, I keep pushing to do these other things, and they're not doing those. So it's very interesting to see the Secretary of Defense, someone who, was involved in counterterrorism, quote unquote, operations in countries the U.S. was occupying and invading, who did learn these lessons the hard way.
Oh, yeah.
Coming out and just being like, these jackasses won't fucking listen.
But he knows they're not going to listen. He knows he's just, no matter what he says, it's just going off into the wind. Well, he just wants to be able to say he said it.
I mean, I think it does reflect a real level of frustration that the U.S. administration, and especially people that actually do have experience with this, are having. And like there is, I understand that like there is a strategy that Biden has in mind that he thinks is going to limit the harm to civilians, the bear hug, where they embrace Israel so closely that it like actually ends up constraining how much military option they're able to do. But and it is a way of maintaining some like U.S. like influence over Israeli decisions. But I don't think it works the way that he believes it does, and it certainly doesn't. It isn't nearly as effective as he thinks. I do understand the idea of wanting to like have a relationship with Israel where they might be willing to listen to you, but I think you need to apply a little more leverage at times. And then like be like, well, if you're not going to listen to us, then we're not going to help you do anything.
I also want us to have a good relationship with India, but I think you meant Israel.
I said India? Wow.
You did.
I meant Israel. Yes. Wow.
But yes, I'm there with you.
I also want us to have a good relationship with India, and that has its own problems. But that was not what I meant to talk about there.
So, how about this one, everybody? Because Massachusetts has filed, they are suing all of the neo-Nazis of NSC 131.
Excellent.
So, for violent and unlawful conduct. This is, of course, Chris Hood, a complete piece of shit, who I, of course, have counter-protested on many occasions, and, only been punched by him once. Fair, though. I mean, I might have started that one. So the state is, the state's attorney general, Andrea Joy Campbell, are filing civil charges against them. And trying to go at them that way. And they are specifically they're not only going after them for, what they're calling like the hate crimes and all the other stuff like that. They're also attempting to get a monetary hit on them too, to make it, really, financial penalties actually kind of hobble them and all that. But yeah, there's a nice article here on Rolling Stone about it. They were on like all the local news yesterday and a couple of days ago on this, but like Rolling Stone picked it all up.
Nice.
And I really do hope they do something about these people because NSC 131 sucks.
Yeah.
They're the locals who here in the Massachusetts and New Hampshire area are the ones who are, dressing in their khakis and then going up on bridges and holding Nazi signs and, and going to the story hours and any drag shows and everything and trying to shut them down. These are our local bastards. Mm-hmm. And we hate them all. So this is great. Fuck them all. Mm-hmm. Now, is everyone ready to go down a rabbit hole with me? Because I want to take you all down a rabbit hole. Completely unfounded yet interesting theory by good old cultural husbandry here. I do not know this person. I do not know who they are or what they believe, so I'm not endorsing them in any way. This is the only tweets. Okay. But we all saw this video this week of the house blowing up in Arlington after the man was firing off flares and then wouldn't come out. And then when the cops show up with a warrant, he blows his house up, right? Well, the story is that he just, did that to hide something, right? That's everyone believed, there must be something in the house he didn't want to get seen or he didn't want to get arrested for, blah, 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 blah. But let's go down the rabbit hole instead. So, if you follow this thread, the house is owned by James Wu, and his father is Ki Hong Yu, of American University, which you can just go Google all this. It is literally a CIA cutout. Like that's what it is. And he wrote the plan to retake North Korea with bioagents, working with the South Korean government. So he's that guy. And James, whose house it was, used to work at Global Crossing. Global Crossing run lots of the fiber around the world. So all the stuff that literally these connections that we're doing right here are probably going over, if anyone's watching them in Asia, probably going over Global Crossing hardware and Global Crossing fiber. Some of the underwater fiber, everything else is them. They have also been proven in court multiple times to be just a tool of the spy agencies. So they're not only in control of all these connections and all this telecommunications, but they are working hand in hand with everyone. You know, a lot of the Snowden leaks talked about them specifically as a group who were just handing over information. So who founded it? Gary Winnick. He founded Global Crossing. Gary Winnick died in November on the 4th. So a month before this explosion. And then another person who was high up in the company dies in this. The board of Global Crossing include the current Secretary of Defense, William Cohen, CEO of JP Morgan Private Bank, Elena Lagomosino, and Assistant Secretary of Defense Richard Pearl Elena, was also Gary Winnick's personal banker. So all these people in big positions of power were on the board of Global Crossing. And Global Crossing was a global spy agency that focused on tapping all their intercontinental fiber for the spy agencies. In 2003, James Wu, the person whose house blew up, facilitated the transfer of ownership of a massive global wiretapping operation to the federal government. Eric Holder, who 5 years later would go on to become Attorney General picked by Obama, was key to this deal and made millions of dollars doing it. The new undersea cables they're building out of their now Bermuda Limited Company. Just you keep going. The Kim Dae-jung administration built up a countrywide high-speed ICT infrastructure with Global Crossing. There's all this stuff that just ties this all together in a very weird way where people from that period who also were heavily involved in Iraq and the rebuilding of infrastructure there in a way where Global Crossing would lay a lot of the fiber and a lot of the other big telecom equipment. So they could also all be wiretapped by our government's agencies, by the Five Eyes and everything else. James Wu had a piece in that. So here's someone who was, through his job, mixed up in spy games. Even if it wasn't intentional that he was mixed up in spy games, he was maybe just working on the tech. He was mixed up in the spy games. And someone else who was mixed up in the spy games, both dying in interesting circumstances within a month. It makes me question whether that was suicide or not. Just personally. It's an interesting thread if people want to go through and read this thing. One thing I will say is James Wu hasn't worked for Global Crossing in 20 years, but either did the other guy who died a month ago. So
yeah, and a bunch of the other people that were mentioned in that, like the people that were currently part of Global Crossing or supposedly were, like Richard Pearl, and William Cohen, were part of either the State Department or the CIA, depending on which one you're talking about, like 20 years ago. So again, this could be cleaning house a little. Yeah. It could be related to something
which is a thing that happens in the spy game.
It certainly is.
So very interesting thread this person has put together with a lot of detailed information, a lot of names, a lot to back it up. We'll have to see if any of that plays out to anything, but it is interesting to me. Whew. You know what, Mac? So I'm looking up the OBS output. I want this screen, but able to pull up your monitor behind the two of us. I want the one that you're seeing right now, chat, but with his screen, not mine. We don't have that right now. I think we have the one where it doesn't have either of us, but it shows your screen. The one where it has you, but not me, and it shows your screen. We need this one. I'm going to work on that over the weekend. I'm going to make another one of these where we can do the thing where we can switch to Mac's screen. because Mac also has topics to talk about.
It's true, although a lot of the time I mostly rely on my notes rather than an open copy of the article.
Let's see if hey, it's the right button. There we go, everybody. What does chat think about that wonderful little rabbit hole we just went down? Interesting, isn't it? Who knows if it's true?
Yeah.
But it sure makes a lot more sense than dude just randomly blowing up his entire house like that. Also, that just random guy who, used to help with internet fiber knows how to blow up his house like that. I mean, sure, you just, turn on the gas stove and let it sit for a little bit and you could probably cause that. But, again, just all weird to me.
It is.
So, Mac, how is it going with you?
Oh, it's going pretty well.
You haven't had 20 freaking doctor's visits in the last month?
I have not. I've not had any doctor's visits in the last month, in fact.
Look at you bragging.
I mean, I do need to schedule one, and I've just been lazy about it, but, whatever. Nothing urgent.
Whew. Yes, I have been mostly working on organizing stuff for various protests and everything else. A lot of my time is still spent doing all of that. Helping to organize action working groups and things like that in various groups to do things. I definitely don't want to end up with $45,000 in bail again,
Indeed.
But we'll see where that goes. I do. Yeah, so one of the court dates coming up for me was Bow, New Hampshire, where a bunch of us protested at the Bow coal power plant, which is a peaker plant, meaning it comes online when we're at peak and we need the extra power. But of course, it could be replaced by literally anything else and it would be better. Mm-hmm. And I was, of course, wrongfully arrested because I never trespassed. I stayed in a boat on a public waterway with other people that weren't even part of our protest. They were just going by in their boats. But they came and grabbed us and said we trespassed as if we had gotten out of our boats onto the power plant land, which we did not. Other people might or might not have. Not going to speak for them, but I did not. They have a filing thing where they have to file in 14 days, and they did not. And we're at 17 working days now since they should have filed. And so our lawyer filed dismissal. And the court hasn't ruled on the dismissal yet, but the prosecutor's office was very angry about that and said, we've got it all filed before the arraignments, so we're still fine, and we want the court to totally ignore this rule because this other rule says the court can, whenever they choose, ignore rules. So use that one to ignore this one and don't dismiss it. Because justice won't be served if you dismiss this. So this Jeff guy is an asshole over at the prosecutor's office.
Sounds like it.
And it looks like they are filing their charges just late and then going to ask for the dismissal to be ignored and for us to still have to appear. So we're going to file all the things so we probably don't have to, travel all the way back up there because it's 2 hours from where I am right now. And getting there early in the morning means I'll probably just have to go the night before. It'll be a whole 2-day thing to just go to court and be there for the 5 minutes where they arraign us and give us a whole nother thing or give us community service or something fucking stupid. So our lawyer's working on filing the appearances, which means she can file for us saying that we're putting in the plea of not guilty and file that we can't make it because it's so far away. And then just one of our group has to go up there and put all these in for us. So we're hoping that works out. But right now, that court's just being a bunch of dicks because they didn't follow their own rules and they're still going to try and get the charges through anyways. In the end, I think, worst we're going to get is some community service. And I don't dislike community service. Send me to a soup kitchen. I'm happy to do that type of work. I sure as hell would think so, Alistair. Yeah, definitely. But here we are. The New Hampshire state constitution there and all that says the judge can totally ignore any rules put on the court on how they're supposed to act if they deem ignoring the rule would serve justice. So the rule of the 14 days can be totally ignored and they can file 17, 18, 19 days late and just go forward as if that other rule never happened. Yeah. And filing against them and suing on some kind of constitutional grounds is a lot of work. And we'd rather just go do more protesting, I think. So, we'll see. We'll see where this all goes. We're very lucky to have an awesome lawyer. I mean, oh my God, we're so lucky to have her. So that's just great. Yeah. And funny enough, same lawyer for another action I did. So she's popping up everywhere and being amazing. I have no idea if she wants her name said, so I'm just not going to, just in case. But anyways, if she ever sees this, you're awesome. Thank you. Yeah. I've got a few other protest events coming up. There's definitely some other fun things that I just can't talk about because they haven't happened yet, and we'd like the protest to go forward. All that OPSEC stuff. But yeah, good times. So, wow. I didn't think we'd be an hour in already. Before we started this, I literally looked at Mac and said, I don't think I have too much tonight because of all the doctor's visits and everything else I've had going on. Like, it's just, I haven't been able to focus at all. I thought I'd be done 20 minutes in. Oh, wow. We made an hour. Let's.
To be fair, we only went into like video like 30 minutes in. So.
True.
So. We're only, like 40 minutes into just actually streaming.
So what haven't we covered, Mac? What do we need to talk about?
So one of the first things is one that I just found endlessly hilarious.
Yeah?
I mentioned this before we streamed. So for anyone that isn't aware, Ben Shapiro's website, The Daily Wire, has their streaming video service, and they've started making or releasing at least, I guess now they're starting to make these terrible movies.
Horrible.
They have one that's coming out. I guess it just came out, something like that. And it's called Lady Ballers. And the premise is basically, well, do you remember a movie from the early 2000s called Joanna Man? It was a dumb comedy about a guy dressing as a woman to play professional basketball.
It was hilarious.
Like, even in the early 2000s when, like, ha ha, man dressed as a woman was, like, a punchline in its own right, it still was a bad movie. Well, this is basically that, but less original and less talent involved. But it's basically the same idea. But so, of course, being the Daily Wire, it's Ben Shapiro's site. And then it like all of the actual acting, directing, and everything starred Jeremy Boring, who is the CEO and like tied to the money at the Daily Wire.
I'm surprised they couldn't get Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah, I guess
Baio.
Kevin Sorbo was too busy. But as a result,
How?
he's busy on Twitter.
Yeah.
But or is he on Truth Social now? I don't even pay attention.
I have no idea.
But anyway, so they did this promo thing about the release of the movie, and I guess it's supposed to be sort of an interview, but it's just Jeremy Boring and Ben Shapiro talking about it, and like they were both involved in the production, so it's not really anyone being interviewed exactly. It's
just a conversation among friends.
More a like very small
where they expose each other.
What you might call a circle jerk, except with just two people. I don't know. But in it, Ben Shapiro like forgets like who he is and makes just this incredibly revealing admission where he talks about how like when they first brought the idea of the movie to him, he was like, "Oh, you should make it a documentary." And so they were going to make it a documentary where they actually had these guys join women's basketball and like claim to be women so they could show, you know, how men relatively unimpressive men could outperform or like overperform in women's basketball. And then he admits that like they found out that they couldn't do it because in fact women's basketball didn't allow men, and like you could transition and join the league, but you had to actually like transition.
Yeah,
and
you
none
had
of
to
the
go
guys
through
who were
an
going to
actual
do
medical
this
transition.
were even remotely willing to do like hormones for like years and all this just to do this. And so they decided that wasn't viable, so they adapted it as a comedic fictional premise instead, thereby admitting that like all of this fear mongering about men joining women's sports was just complete horseshit the entire time. They now know this. Like he has admitted that he knows this now. They discovered it trying to make a movie, and is he going to stop making these claims?
No.
No. We all know he's not going to stop making these claims.
Absolutely not.
But yeah, just the fact that we had them put out the video of him admitting it himself, I just thought was hilarious.
I mean, they do always tell on themselves, right?
They do, but usually they're not like, usually it's not quite that blatant. Or like they'll do it, if they're going to do it blatantly, they'll do it somewhere where like they didn't know that it was going to make it was going to be end up being public, or like they were on someone else's like footage or something. It's kind of rare for them to just be like, yeah, we're just going to put out the footage of us admitting it.
Ooh.
So yeah, that was I think probably one of my favorite stories of the week. Another one was, of course, the House expelling George Santos.
Of course.
And
Santos making more money off of Cameo in like 2 days than he had in all of Congress.
That part was kind of funny, but I'm still not a huge fan.
Yeah. I just think it's hilarious.
But I did find it weird that like people kept trying to claim that expelling George Santos was like setting some kind of bad precedent. And we mentioned this a little last week, with that being the excuse that like some of the Congress people, some of the representatives had for why they voted against it. And like, what are these people talking about? How, never mind the idea of whether he should be expelled. The question of whether it sets a precedent seems kind of ridiculous, because literally the first person ever expelled from Congress in 1797 was William Blount of Tennessee, who was kicked out of Congress because they accused him of treason, but he was never actually prosecuted or even indicted for treason. In fact, they kicked him out and he went back to his home state in Tennessee and just became a state senator there, and then the Speaker of the Senate. Like, he saw no real consequences beyond getting kicked out of Congress. There certainly wasn't an indictment. So where is setting a bad precedent coming into place? I do not understand.
Not at all.
But I do find it very funny that he got kicked out of Congress. He certainly had it coming.
Oh, definitely.
And I guess speaking of people who had it coming, we had a couple of different things happen with the fake electors scheme in 2 different states. There were a bunch of Republicans who were part of it in Wisconsin who settled a lawsuit where they had to admit that Biden won the state, that they had wrongfully filed the paperwork in the first place, that they were never going to serve as presidential electors in any election where Trump was on the ballot. And one of them put out a statement. He was actually the state Republican chairman, Andrew Hitt. Quote, "The Wisconsin electors were tricked and misled into participating in what became the alternate elector scheme, and would never have taken any actions had we known that there were ulterior reasons beyond preserving an ongoing legal strategy," end quote. And he said that he's been working with the Justice Department since May of 2022 and won't be supporting Trump ever again. And I thought that was pretty funny. I don't know that how much I believe that, they legitimately didn't have any clue, because a lot of the other ones certainly seem to have known. But the fact that at this point they're like, nope, we want nothing to do with this. We were wrong on everything. No part of this. And then likewise not exactly likewise, but similarly in Nevada, a group of them got indicted this week, including the Nevada Republican Party chair, Michael McDonald, and a bunch of other ones. All got charged with 2 felonies, offering a false instrument for filing and uttering a forged instrument. And one of the amusing things about it is that we found out in that indictment that one of the witnesses that they're relying on for these indictments and that has played a key role in these investigations going forward is Ken Cheesebro, who turned cooperating witness in exchange for leniency in, I think it was Georgia that was the one where he made the deal. But that is just, very satisfying.
Yeah.
And good. Screw all these people. I hope they throw the book at them. I'm not usually one for like excessively harsh legal consequences for like criminals, because I understand there's a lot of complicating factors and like not all of the laws are good, and sometimes like people get charged and then go to prison on like bogus charges, or like went to the jail on a bogus charge previously and now they're up for a 3 strikes conviction because of like they had a bag of weed or something. And I'm not a big fan of that, but like there are some crimes that are actual crimes that people should go away for a long time, and trying to overthrow democracy definitely counts as one of those. Like that is very specifically one of the few things they should go to prison for a long time for.
Hard agree. Yes.
Speaking of people who have been indicted and should go to prison, I guess we had the DC indictment of Donald Trump. Had the government file its paperwork about what evidence they're planning to present at trial. You know, an element of court cases is they have to announce in advance what evidence they intend to present at trial, so the defense has a chance to prepare against it. And that indictment is, or not that indictment, but that filing is very funny. It's just because it starts like talking about not just all the stuff Trump did in regards to 2020, which of course is voluminous in its own right, but pointing out that they're going to bring up at trial the fact that like he has a long history of just accusing any election that didn't go the way he wanted of being fraudulent. Like, hey, remember that time where he said that about the 2012 election? And then remember the time he said that about the 2016 election? Oh, and there was that time he said that about the 2016 primaries when like there's just all these times where they're like, yeah, we're gonna bring up all of those at trial. Where he had zero basis for any of these.
Yeah.
And then just their summary of after they're talking about that is, quote, the defendant's false claims about the 2012 and 2016 elections are admissible because they demonstrate the defendant's common plan of falsely blaming fraud for election results he does not like, as well as his motive, intent, and plan to obstruct the certification of the 2020 election results and illegitimately retain power, end quote. And then they also talk about they're going to bring up all of the times where he was asked in 2016 and 2020 during the campaigns, like, so if the election goes against you, are you going to accept the results? And he was like, we'll see. So they're planning to bring up all of those. They're planning to bring up the times where he was talking about like how his supporters wouldn't accept it if they like tried to prevent him from winning. Just like all these things, like we're like, oh yeah, you know, he says so many things that it's easy to forget just how like there is this tide of bullshit, and it's so easy to be like, oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that time he'd done X, Y, and Z as well. And so this filing just kind of brings it all together, and it brings in a couple of things where, like, I don't know exactly how widely known they were. Like, one of the things he talks about, or the filing talks about, is, quote, the indictment lists multiple examples of the defendant's efforts during the charged conspiracies to pressure state officials to change election results or appoint invalid electors in spite of the election results. The government also plans to introduce evidence of an effort undertaken by an agent and unindicted co-conspirator of the defendant who worked for his campaign, quote, in parentheses, the campaign employee, to, immediately following the election, obstruct the vote count. On November 4th, 2020, the campaign employee exchanged a series of text messages with an attorney supporting the campaign's election day operations at the TCF Center in Detroit, where votes were being counted. In the messages, the campaign employee encouraged rioting and other methods of obstruction when he learned that the vote count was trending in favor of the defendant's opponent. Then there's some redacted content for about a paragraph. The government will also show that around the time of these messages, an election official at the TCF Center observed that as Biden began to take the lead, a large number of untrained individuals flooded the TCF Center and began making illegitimate and aggressive challenges to the vote count. Thereafter, Trump made repeated false claims regarding election activities at the TCF Center, when in truth, his agent was seeking to cause a riot to disrupt the count. This evidence is admissible to demonstrate that the defendant, his co-conspirators, and agents had knowledge that the defendant had lost the election, as well as their intent and motive to obstruct and overturn the legitimate results, end quote. Which
absolute insanity.
Yeah, and
welcome, nice
that one,
first-time chatter there.
That one sounds. Does anyone remember the Brooks Brothers riot in the 2000 in Florida?
Yeah.
Where Republicans did basically the same thing, sending a bunch of their Republican operatives to start a riot to prevent the counting of the votes. Yeah, weird that, but nice people are actually getting in trouble for it this time.
I mean, we hope.
Well, they've gotten indicted, and
yeah.
These indictments are just, the evidence is so overwhelming. It's hard to imagine how
they'll fuck it up and get away. Yeah.
And usually they get away with it just by not getting indicted in the first place. So it is nice. And yeah, this motion, it has so many things like that, like talking about, Trump's attacks on Georgia election workers, even after he knew that they were false, the attacks were false. Talking about, his support for the Proud Boys and how, he told them to stand back and stand by, and then they started printing merch with that on it.
Yeah.
And, all the stuff about, him trying to pretend that he's not responsible for the stuff on January 6th, but then, he talks about how badly they've been treated and, goes and supports the January 6th choir and does a thing with them and, so calling these people hostages. So this filing is just the reminder of all of the scale of stuff they have, and them saying, yeah, we're going to bring up all of it was just very satisfying and funny. And
amazing. Absolutely.
One of those man, when you put it together like that, it's really hard to imagine what kind of defense you could even try to put up against this.
Indeed. Yeah, they should all get in trouble. I mean, there's enough information there that the indictment alone has more than enough in it that they should just all burn in hell. But
oh yeah,
we've watched our justice system, so-called justice system.
Yeah,
we'll see what actually happens.
Yeah,
good old gray hair guy, huh? Yeah, my hair's been going gray for a long time. I think the first time I saw grays, I was 32. Somewhere around there. But yeah, it's been getting a lot grayer lately. I can look at it up in the OBS there. Yeah. Huh. Good old stuff. Definitely feels weird though, because the hair is going way grayer than the beard, faster, The old salt and pepper look there.
Yeah.
I've heard people like that. We'll see. We'll see how this plays out for me in the world. Stress definitely does help with that. So what you're saying is if I was super rich, I might not have as much gray hair.
Well, if you're super rich, you can just get hair plugs installed. Just ask.
True. Musk. Actually, yeah. I don't actually care.
Yeah.
I think it's okay. Whatever, right? The haircut is only because, like, I mean, you guys know I just kind of let my hair do whatever the hell it wants. I've got the haircut because, like, we did the documentary shoot last week, and, you know, I at least want to clean up a little for those. Yeah. Yeah. I want to play some of the games we normally play. You want to try some of those, chat? How do we do this thing? Hey, it's a button. One of these days, I'll just have that memorized where I can just reach over and push the button. Let's play some games. Start with the standard, you know, just go down the list.
Global thermonuclear war.
What do we got here? Ooh, okay. We'll have to bust out this one.
Ooh.
Oh, and those are... Well then, I wonder what the word is, everybody.
That's a tough one.
Can chat tell me the first letter? Yeah. Those 3 words like work for me every damn time. I love that. Those are like the words for me.
Does get a lot of letters.
WORLDLE. All right. Ooh. What is that? That is not Nepal.
Mongolia?
Kind of similar, same shape. What?
Mongolia?
Actually, it could be.
I don't think Hungary is that narrow compared to its...
No, it's way over that way.
Wait. Okay, so...
We're just going to put ourselves in Europe to see what happens.
Czech Republic, maybe?
Straight above it. 1,000 kilometers.
So yeah, like somewhere.
Let's go with chat here.
Central
Chat
Europe.
says it could be Hungary. Why can't I spell? Oh, hey. My thing thinks I should totally be in 1Password right now for some reason.
Clearly.
How close are we? Ooh. Well, it's right above Hungary. Does anybody know what that is? Is it Austria?
Yeah, I think.
No, Austria's beside it.
Then Czech Republic?
Czechia?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, that is like down the other way though, right? Yeah. It's like, isn't Slovakia down and to the left of that? No, there you go. You're right. Look at that. We were in the right area. We got close.
Yeah.
But chat
There's
saves
several
us on that
countries
one.
there that are a similar sort of shape.
Chat saves us on that one. Thank you, Mysterious Enigma. All right. What do we got for Tradle? Soybeans, corn, electricity, beef. 10 billion. That's their whole market cap? That's like the whole trade? That's pretty small for a...
Yeah, and a lot of soybeans and then electricity and corn.
Soybean oil, too. Let's just find ourselves on the map here. Let's go for, like, Brazil, just to put ourselves somewhere.
Yeah.
To see if we're where I think we're... Yeah, see, we're close there. Okay, so we're in between Brazil and Chile there. So what is that? And with the soy, I knew we were like in that area.
So Uruguay? Maybe?
Isn't that north of that?
Or no, Paraguay. Yeah, Paraguay.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Boom, Paraguay. There it is. Got it in 3. Yeah. From playing this long enough, I know whenever they go soybean, like we're right in that area if it's really heavy. And then we just kind of narrow it down. I do not know why having all of that knowledge is a good thing, but like, boy, do I know trading now. We're going to play global. I always like to start in Egypt. It's a good, like, central kind of a place. 5,610 miles. Okay.
That's a ways.
So we go to Japan. Egypt is closer.
All right.
Canada is closer. Mexico is closer. Colombia is right next to it.
Oh, there's a few options.
Venezuela. Boom.
Yep.
That's not bad. Got it in 6.
Yeah, not bad.
9 in a row. I like that one. Global is just like one of my favorites of all of these types of games. What about Framed? Oh, what movie is this? I'm going to guess Taxi Driver. Like the film graininess and everything really looks similar. Nope.
Yeah.
I can't tell who that is.
Neither can I.
What movie was he in? Is this what is that the Sopranos movie prequel thing?
Oh, I don't remember.
Saints of Newark, right? How does it not have that? Oh. Wow. What? How do I not know this movie? Look at this cast. There's Turturro. Yeah, I have no idea what this is. We're just going to click the button. And Snipes.
What is it?
Is it New Jack City? Jungle Fever. Okay. Hey, there's Jungle Fever, everybody. I don't know if I watched that one back then.
I don't think I did.
It's a damn good cast.
Yeah, solid cast. Not familiar with the movie, though.
How about the next movie one? What has this one got for us? Huh. That is not helpful. What the hell? Oh, yeah. Hydrate. That is actually a good idea. Huh. Yeah, I have no idea. Still, oh, wow. I mean, like, what are we doing here? What? What's the Pete Davidson movie? King of Staten Island? Yeah, there we go. And that was kind of easy. I mean, that looks totally like him. Right? I mean, Come on. All right. What's next? The TV one is so hard these days because there's like 5 million shows now. I have no fucking idea what this is. Nope. Who set the house on fire? Who are any of these people? Well, yeah, this is just probably another one of those like 5 million Netflix shows that I've never seen.
Sounds about right.
Little Fires Everywhere. Never heard of that show.
I mean, from those pictures, I guess that name makes sense, but wholly unfamiliar.
How about the actual hard one? Is it working again? Because it was broken days ago. Oh, it looks like it's working again. All right. We get to see 1 second of a movie. The whole movie in 1 second. I have no idea what that was.
Yeah.
We're going to skip. We're going to try 2 seconds. In one of these, they actually showed the title screen on accident as like the first like frame, so it just stood right out.
That's hilarious.
I really think I know what this one is, but I don't know the actual name of that movie. Does chat remember the movie where one of the sisters from the band Haim was starring? It's like high school, like in love with a boy kind of a thing. Yeah, that one. This feels like that. Haha. I could not remember the damn name of that to save my life. But I saw her, and I actually, like, I don't know, I actually like their stuff. So, you know, there we go. Thank you, Portia. How about Time Guesser Daily? What do we got going on here? Oh, boy. What team is this? Etihad Stadium? Etihad Airways. So this is just one of those where that's the one who is actually... I cannot tell anything on here.
Can you zoom in on the billboard display? Can we read any of that?
Oh, yeah, I can actually. Got it. Okay, where does Manchester City play? Where is Manchester on this damn map?
North. Just south of Scotland. Basically. Yeah.
Okay, do I have to zoom in farther to get it to show me the damn stadium? Where, oh, where is their stadium, everybody? You would think it would show up on the map a
That
little
does
better.
seem like a thing that would be prominent enough to make it on.
Because that thing up there says Manchester City.
Fair enough.
Top right, you say. I did? Where did I see it? You know, I'm just going to say close enough. And then this is definitely like modern. Is that post COVID?
I see an iPhone that only has 2 cameras on the back, it looks like.
I'm going to say
Or the double bubble there for the
right now. Yeah, I can see the name of the stadium, but over here it says it's Manchester City, so that's the team. I think anyways. Let's find out. How good was I? I was 2.3 kilometers away and 1 year off. I mean, not bad, right?
Yeah, that's solid.
98, 93 out of 10,000. That's
Yeah.
a pretty good
99% basically.
good score. What's next? Ooh, hello. Okay, so obviously we are in France.
Yep. Somewhere in northern France, presumably. Right? That's where Lyon is.
Let's see here. Where is...
Or no, Lyon is southern. So it could be anywhere in central or southern.
There it is. Okay. So we've got... We're just going to say right about here. That does definitely feel like it could be 70s.
I would say probably earlier 70s rather than later 70s.
Yeah, like let's go 72. Maybe actually 70 even.
Maybe.
74, I was closer the other way. And 90 kilometers off, but we were close.
Yeah.
I mean, 90 kilometers, and we're talking the whole globe. I don't mind 8,800 points.
Yeah.
I have literally gotten one so wrong that it was 12 points. So,
That's about as far off as you can get.
yeah. Huh. I wonder if this is Afghanistan. COVID-19 up there. Huh.
Yeah. Can you zoom into the billboard on the right?
Yeah. What flag is that?
That's what I'm trying to think. Green, red, black. Damn, that's a
I mean, these do
combination.
look like Taliban fighters.
They do. That might be Afghanistan.
Definitely 2022 vibes, right?
Yeah. I do think Afghanistan has a green, red, and black flag with a thing in the middle. Maybe I'm misremembering there.
So we're just going to go dead center of Kabul in 2022 and see what happens.
Yeah, I think we might be a little ways off.
1 year off in 4.8 kilometers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So close. So close.
Another rounds to 99%.
I love this game, by the way, chat. All right. As I say that, it gives me no picture. Huh. Well, it's never done this before. If I refresh, do I lose? Nope. Okay, good. Ooh.
Oh, boy.
What do we got here?
I cannot see anything because it's being blocked by the our camera pictures.
This looks like it could be one of those Iran pictures.
It does.
Where it's showing before,
Yeah.
everything.
Although.
Right?
That car is fairly late for that.
I mean, this is a 70s car. Like 72 or so, right?
I think it's a little later than that. I would guess like 76, 78.
That bumper? We're going to say Tehran, and we are going to say 75. Let's see how close we are. 73. I was closer when I went the other way. And we were not in Tehran, although we were close enough.
Kuwait, yeah. Kuwait, that does make some sense as well.
Yep. I mean, same difference at that point.
Yeah. Oh, now that it's
Did I just say something horrible?
Well, no, I was gonna say I couldn't see I couldn't see the car's license plate or anything because it was all behind our picture and our video feeds. So if I had noticed that the license plate was in picture, I probably would have been like, oh, why don't we zoom in there? Yeah, that's definitely Germany.
It is definitely Germany, but where?
Yeah.
What is this giant building that was getting worked on or unveiled? I don't know. That is so weird how they have that even like bound up with like rope keeping it tight.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, stop it, map. There we go. Over here, but what are we thinking year on this? Let's look at these clothes.
Yeah, I need a better look at some of these outfits. That's very hard to tell from here.
Like the picture itself looks like 60s quality.
Yeah.
But then look at this dude. That dude was not dressed like that in the 60s unless he's a time traveler.
Yeah.
And then this shirt sure as hell looks like 1992 to me.
Yeah, I think that's got to be mid to late 90s at least.
Right, I mean, it's an older dude, so he could easily be wearing his early 90s gear still.
No, but I mean, we saw one of the other people you zoomed in on looked like, the guy with the ball cap.
Yeah.
That definitely makes me think it wasn't any earlier.
I personally think it's 92, 93, but everyone is saying it's later in the
'cause
90s. So we're going to go 97 and see where we are here. 95. So we were both on opposite sides of that one.
Yeah.
But we were only 6 kilometers away. I thought I had that one right.
Yeah.
I was, okay, it was a little closer to center. I'm usually a little better with Berlin, but oh well.
Yeah, that's a weird angle in that picture. Like, you can't see any of the other surroundings, but really.
Still 6 kilometers, again, not too bad.
Yeah.
46,000. That's my high score.
That's
ever.
a pretty good score.
That's not bad. That is not bad.
That is,
yeah.
On all 5, that's a 93% overall.
Not bad. Why does Doppel not have a game? Isn't there like... What? Waiting for day. Why can't I play Doppel? This seems unfair. Doppel being down? How rude.
Indeed.
Okay, well, yeah, we are not going through Death by AI. Although I like that game, that takes a little while. That was fun. I love playing those games. Those games, like, just get the mind going and everything else. Also, just getting a bearing of where everything is in the whole world and all that. Like, just all that knowledge. I don't know why I like littering my mind with so much of that stuff, but I really do. I played one the other day where I was on a run. Like, I was averaging 9,900 points, and the very last one, I got 12 points on. I was on the opposite side of the globe, like as opposite as you could be. Like, it was insanity.
And you must have been way off on the time, too.
Oh, yeah, by like 20 years.
Yeah.
So, did you guys see this one? It's been 10 months since they actually filmed the Squid Game challenge, and the winner still hasn't been paid.
You know, that seems very fitting.
Right? Netflix still has not paid my Waylon her money. So, I don't know why. I haven't actually read why, but I just saw this a few minutes ago, and I was like, oh, that's fun. And, of course, according to right-wingers, Hunter Biden is still the devil, so, you know.
Yep.
Chat, what have we missed? What should we still talk about? What is going on? Did we miss anything? Should we talk about more? Are we done? Getting a little comfortable here, leaning back, you know. I need a way to frame that a little better. Yeah, whatever. Oh, you wanted me to go to Tick and Talk. And then... over here in my inbox. Oh, well, that's not what I meant to click on. Cool.
It's because I think it should be a bigger story, and I don't think it's going to get covered.
Okay.
All right, so can I explain it to you?
Yeah.
And then you can just tell me if I sound crazy.
Okay.
Because I'm going to sound crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. 99% of the phones in the world are being tracked by every single government through push notifications. And the United States government has a gag order on the 2 largest phone companies through their operating systems to make sure that no one knows about it. And it was just confirmed by a letter via the chairman of the Committee on Finance in the Senate.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So you're saying that all the governments?
So this is how he words it. All right, okay. Senator Ron Wyden, in a letter to the Attorney General, he states that last year he got a tip, his office got a tip, that foreign governments were reaching out to Google and Apple. Now that's important because Android phones make up 70% of every operating system in the world.
All right.
On every phone.
Okay.
The other 29% is Apple.
Yeah.
Both of those companies were being reached out to by foreign governments who were requesting push notification data.
Push notification data?
So you know when somebody sends you a text?
Yeah.
Okay, and you get that little thing that pops up at the top of the screen?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you like this thing. Or like Amazon sends you a little bing. It's like, oh, just so you know, Magneto helmets are 30% off. And then you click the button and buy.
I cannot believe you bought that Magneto helmet.
Okay, ignore this. The governments are tracking us, okay?
All right.
I will put it on so they don't hear my thoughts. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So when you get that, that's a push notification.
Yeah.
Okay? But that doesn't come directly from your app. That, through these services, goes from the app to a cloud server.
Okay.
And then it goes to your phone.
All right.
Yep.
So these governments are subpoena and requesting the information from the cloud server. Not from your phone, not from the app, but from Google and from Apple. And so these governments, we don't know what governments, it just says in the letter, foreign countries are reaching out and collecting this data. Now, the assumption being ones that the United States has security partnerships with throughout the world.
Maybe.
But also, maybe the United States government as well. Because when his office reached out and were like, we want more information about this, both Google and Apple stated to the senator, who is the chairman of the Committee on Finance, he has the clearance. We can't tell you because we're under a gag order by the United States government. So this senator is asking the attorney general, hey, lift the gag order and let people know if they're being surveilled through the push notifications. Because those push notifications could have things like in a text, who the text came from, maybe like a little bit of the preview of the body of the text, maybe other metadata in there, like where the text was being sent from or other things.
Okay, so I thought we already knew this one. And some of the Snowden stuff way back when, a lot of that already came out that was happening. I turn off as many push notifications as I possibly can. I did see a few days ago that Wyden had done this, and then I saw stuff yesterday about more confirmation. I guess people should be talking about it because I'm sure my mom doesn't know this one, like, that kind of a thing. But this is just one that I have assumed since they introduced it, being someone who understands programming and knowing that there's a centralized server you have to send your notifications to so they then get delivered to the device. Yeah, this was just a thing that I assumed most people already knew and understood, that push notifications are done through a remote server. And so that can be subpoenaed. Supposedly, Apple doesn't store information past the amount of time it takes to deliver the push notification. But do you believe that? I mean, I just turn off as many push notifications as I possibly can. Anything that can, I disable it. Some apps allow you to turn it off. Some websites that back apps allow you to go into your settings and turn off all the notifications. In your phone, you can, of course, disable notifications. That doesn't mean that the app itself won't maybe try and send them to you. If the app's not written well, the app should be able to tell that you don't want it and then, of course, stop trying to send it. But that's on the developer to develop correctly. And, who knows if any developer put in the effort to do that part right. This is a thing that everyone should definitely be assuming. The other thing that I always, like to tell people about push notifications is turn them the F off, especially if you're doing things like I do, like if you're at protests or whatnot. Do not allow push notifications to show previews. At every pre-meet for a protest or an event, we always tell people, open your damn phone, turn off push notifications for any types of messaging, turn off any message previews, turn off any of your biometrics like Face ID, thumbprint ID, any of that to unlock if you have to have your phone. And we only say that to the media people who were like, no, you bring your phone because we need this recorded. Everyone else, we say, don't bring your damn phone. But we still tell them those other things, though. Yeah, this is something that everyone should just know. This is just this is a thing that we were told about a long time ago that everyone kind of forgot. That I'm very glad. It's strange, but I'm very glad Wyden's bringing it back up, letting everyone know. And of course, Pearlmania 500. We just watched a bunch of his content there, like 3 minutes of it. Everyone, if you liked that, go give the follow, go give the like, all that. If you are a TikTok user, Pearlmania is awesome. I love the delivery. I love everything that they do. So, yes. I don't know. What does chat want to talk about this specifically? Because like the bigger issue with this for me is that a lot of the push notification stuff isn't encrypted in any way either. So that's why you want to turn off as much of it as possible. A game suggestion. All right. What's the game suggestion? I do. Superliminal on Steam. I need like way more Steam games, and we should totally like play some of them too. Superliminal, and there's like all kinds of like add-ons.
Man, it looks like most of the add-ons are like a soundtrack and
First
stuff.
person puzzle bundle.
Okay.
Oh, with Super Hot. Yeah. Super Hot isn't a puzzle. Okay. Anyways, what is this here? Ah, yes. I do like these kinds of games.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, guess what, chat? We'll get this, and next stream we'll play some games. I definitely need more games. I think I have my library is going to be embarrassing. I don't use Steam for most of my gaming. My library is Age of Empires 2, Counter-Strike Source, going back all the Half-Lives, Portals, Team Fortress, Vermilion, and Wallpaper Engine. That's my library.
Wow.
My library averages 20 plus years old. Yeah.
Wow, I have more games installed on Steam than you have in your entire library.
Yep. I just don't use Steam. Like, it's just...
I do a huge portion of my gaming through Steam, but like I almost only ever buy games when they're on massive sales or like some sort of deal involving a bunch of games for cheap. So I have a bunch of indie games and stuff that I got for like less than $5 most of the time. Whew. Only a few games that I've actually... I actually don't know if I have any that I paid.
No, this looks awesome.
On since,
we'll go through this on stream.
You know, I think possibly the last game that I paid full price for was Half-Life 2.
Wow. Okay.
Which I bought when it came out.
I put stuff on the wish list, chat, just so I remember it, so I can come back to it and like buy it off stream and whatnot. Yeah, no. I mean, I also usually only play old games, but like on here on Steam, I average playing just Age of Empires 2. All other Age of Empires games are crap. That's the game. Most gaming I do is retro gaming. So, you know, you will find me playing Galaga more than you will find me playing Valorant. You know, I'm big on the retro gaming stuff. Like, let me show you this, chat. This is my Retroid. And it's got every emulator you can imagine on it, and of course I've purchased every game that's on it. But yeah, this thing will literally play all the way up to like PS1 games just fine, and like it plays GameCube and Dreamcast and all that just fine, and then all the way down, of course, to like the early 70s arcade games. But this is more my style of gaming, you know. Or of course, over on the big TV over there, the one that's on the wall, I have an emulator set up over there too, and then 2 16 terabyte drives that might be full. Again, I own every one of them. Yes. Yes. On a real NES or on an emulator? And then I must ask Alistair, on an emulator you wrote yourself? Patrick's Parabox. Patrick's Parabox. Mind-bending recursive puzzle game about boxes within boxes within boxes within boxes. This does look interesting.
That is an interesting.
Huh. Oh, wow. Okay. That's crazy. That actually does look kind of cool.
Actually,
I like this.
you want a if you want a intellectual game that will mess with you. There's one. It's was it like 5D chess with multiversal moves or something like that. It's chess, but with like multiple time dimensions as well.
I wanna see this Lethal Company page. Every single streamer is playing Lethal Company these days.
Oh, I've heard of.
I haven't looked at the page yet. Early access game. It looks fun. I haven't customize your queue.
Yeah, your discovery queue.
Dude, I don't know anything about Steam.
They recommend you games that they think you might like based off of what's popular, what you already own, what you play.
What happens when I hit next in queue? It takes me to party animals. Yeah. No.
Well,
I've watched other people play that.
I think that you would like it.
Oh, look at this. It got the year right. Oh my God, I'm doxing myself. What?
You have to do view page if you're gonna.
Why is it dumb?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to play Starfield.
Mixed reviews.
I definitely don't want to play a football game. And I love sports. I just don't like playing those games. The Game Awards. So I don't watch the whole Game Awards. What I do is I wait till they're over and then I speed through them, only watching the awards get awarded real quick, like right after it's done, because 90% of it is just like game ads for games I'm never going to play. I wonder where it is getting any of these suggestions from, being that I've done so little in.
Well, it's why it has a thing in there that says why it's relevant to you. If you look down below the, like it says strategy, multiplayer, single player, action, casual, co-op. So it's just making wild guesses because you don't have much to give it.
Right. And my discovery queue's over.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So I have a wish list, it looks like. Is there anything else on there? Oh, wow. Old stuff. Oh, yeah. I didn't put those on there. Those were added by a kid a long time ago. How do I
Bottom right of the thing.
remove? There it is. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now I just need to get rich and then buy some games. Yeah, I have no idea how to do the get rich part though. As everyone probably knows. Spider Heck. Spiders with laser swords. Oh, wow. This is one of these.
Huh.
I have no idea how good I would be at this, but it does actually look kind of fun to try. On the list. All right. Any millionaires in the chat want to buy my wish list? I'll go through and I'll add 500 more things to it. Yeah. We'll get one of these and maybe over the weekend here, since I'm mostly home alone doing all the chores this weekend, trying to catch up. I've been doing so much out in the world in the last few weeks that all the chores have fallen behind. So I've got a lot to catch up on this weekend. Maybe I'll also do a game stream this weekend and try some new games instead of just playing Minecraft. Although I love playing Minecraft. As everyone knows, that is my favorite game in the world. Yeah. If I played any of those games like Lethal Company or any of those where it's like teams and whatnot, would chat be willing to like jump in if I like do the thing where I don't know if it's got a code or if it's got a link or a name or a friend and a request or whatever. But I would definitely like to try one of those as a group. And I don't think I'm a big enough streamer to join one of the big streamer groups who are playing that game right now. I'm sure getting into the one that Ludwig's playing in would definitely get me some subs, but I don't see how I'm getting in those yet. We'll get there. Although I'm still also doing that thing where I can't tell with so many streamers whether I should interact with them or not. Like, there's still just so much drama there. Oh my God, with everybody. Yeah, totally. Maybe I want to say, let's do a tomorrow afternoon one, and we'll try and play some Lethal Company maybe first, because that's like a group one. I don't know what sizes are, but I know I've seen people play that solo too. So I think we can probably do any size party of whoever's around. Let's give it a time to make it real. Let's say 3:00. Let's do that. Up to 4 without mods. So the people who are playing in those ones where there's like 6 or 7 of them are playing because there's mods? Like, I know I've seen one where it was like Foolish and Saikuno and Fusli and Ludwig and like, yeah, there were like 5 or 6 of them. Okay. I watched them to try and like figure out what the game was. Definitely looks interesting. And, you know, we are letting this machine go to waste, guys. Like, I don't have the best video card in here, but it is an i9 with 128 gigs of fast RAM and a 3060 Ti and all NVMe storage. This thing should play some of these games just fine.
Yeah.
Now the question is, do you want to play any of the mech? Would you do any of this, or are you?
I mean, I guess I conceivably might if I'm available. None of these are games I currently have, but like if I pick them up, I might be interested in playing some of them. If I happen to be available when you're doing it.
I will reach out when it's time then. Okay. And then Spider Heck too. What are all the other games everyone just like does noteworthy mean anything? Like, how does this? The Steam Deck is the top seller. I just don't believe that.
Yeah, I'm a little dubious on that one.
That doesn't sound right. Similar, okay. I do wish I had kept up with a lot more of the gaming, because I did game a lot in the 90s and into it, but I just really enjoy the older games a lot more.
Yeah, most of the games I play are very far away from AAA.
Yeah. Holy crap. Huh. I like watching people play the new modern games, and I don't usually, I mean, I'm talking like the Valorants and, you know, the games like that, like the esports type games. I enjoy watching all of those. And just like I do in regular sports, like, you know, basketball or anything else, I've got the team I like, you know. It's going to be a while before that team's doing anything, but they're going up. It's Moist X Spotify is the Valorant team I like. The one that Ludwig actually set up. I'm enjoying watching that just because, like, underdogs, you know. They were more underdogs until Spotify showed up with its like $1 billion budget. But, you know, hey. Good times. Oh wow, look at there's too many games.
Yeah, there's so many.
Thanks, Mysterious, there for all of these suggestions, because there's too many games to be picking from. I'm gonna grab one or two of these like tomorrow morning, and then maybe we'll try and aim for a stream around like 3ish and play a couple games together if chat's up for it. And of course, thanks for the subs there, Berdam, and the gifted sub especially, to good old Splendid Spoon there. Anyone else wants to follow or any of that type of stuff, we are over the 2-hour mark, and I am starting to feel the stuff here. That wither fight sure was a thing. Yeah, we are on Discord. We are over there. I am starting to use some more of my socials a little more often these days, but still nowhere back to where I was years ago. I'm working on it, slowly grinding my way back in there. That wither fight, man. I never want to do that again. Oh my God. Our server is on hard mode, and I was prepared for like 3 or 4 people to be fighting a wither and for us to have it caged. And it broke right out of the cage, and then it was basically on me to kill alone. I had some random support, but holy crap. Killing a wither that's wild and just like flying around in the air on hard mode is actually hard. I went through 12 totems. Holy crap. No, the next thing I want to do on the Minecraft server is probably build out an actual like house, because I haven't like done that for myself. I built the village that we made and all the villagers. I made them homes. So Anna helped do all of that, but you know. Anyways, chat, I think we're done here. We'll play some games tomorrow. That'll be something to do in midday while I'm doing all the other stuff like laundry and everything. Other than that, you got anything else, Mac?
No, I don't think so.
Sorry about that. No worries. It was still actually, I mean, for all it was hard and I was complaining the whole time, it was also actually fun and kind of exhilarating. So we got there. One of those things. But yes, we'll play some games. We'll start doing a little more of that because it's something we can do. I don't know. Like, we'll talk more about during the games about some of the other game things I want to do. But I do still think finding a way to get the VR helmet to stream will be interesting. My one question about that is, we talked a little in one of these about me streaming some of like my VR that I do in the mornings, because half of my workout in the mornings for my exercise is VR, but most of that is in apps that are playing music. And I'm pretty positive almost all of the music is, copyrighted, because half of it is like real songs. Like, I'm listening to, actual artists that you all know that is copyrighted music. Some of it is stuff that was like original to the thing, but I still think some of that's copyrighted. So I don't know exactly how we play around with that unless like I license each of those songs. And there are ways to kind of, compared to what it used to be, cheaply license those things. But it would be really hard to like be in VR and be doing all the motions and everything, but have it like be silent because like we don't have a license to the music. I will answer to that, because I am not a Swiftie in the sense that I enjoy Taylor Swift's music. That is not to say that I hate it. It is just not my type of music. I do not enjoy it. I will not go to it. I will not listen to it on purpose. But I've been enjoying her as a person lately. Some of the things she's done, some of the things she said, especially like politically when she told everyone to go vote and stuff like that. I've been enjoying that she's starting to put herself out there a little more with the power she has. And I haven't really seen her stumble too much. So I've been enjoying that part of the whole Swiftie thing. And I really enjoyed when all the Swifties in the Taylor Swift subreddit got into football and started like having like their weekly football threads and talking about all the teams and everything. And that was kind of cool. But the music definitely isn't my thing. Not recorded to the VOD. Yeah, we'll see. I'll show up on Discord, when I can show up once I'm done with a lot of the other stuff I got to do around the house, and then we'll kind of figure that out. Yeah, cool. All right, everybody. I'm glad all these games aren't the $80 and $90 games and the $50 game. 43% off, and it's $51. That's just bullshit. Anyways, chat. We are going to call it here. We're going to end it at 2 hours in, and I will see you all tomorrow for some gaming. And I will invite Mac. I highly doubt midday he'll be available.
Probably
but that'll be on him. That won't be on me because I will make the invite. All right, chat. Good night, everyone. This was fun. Let's go.